Okay, good afternoon, everybody. And I'm proud to be joined by Senators Warnock and Cortez Masto. Senator Stabenow is expected in a moment to join us as well. So, we're here again. Just like 3 months ago, Senate Republicans rejected the strongest and most comprehensive bipartisan border security bill Congress has seen in a whole generation. It's a sad day for the Senate, a sad day for America. Look, I understand that today's bill was not going to win every Democratic vote or every single Republican vote. That's what bipartisanship is. It's a compromise. We had hoped that Republicans, having supported this bill once, would put aside politics and rise to the occasion. Sadly, they did not. The goal was to come up with something that could get a majority of Democrats and Republicans in this chamber to become law. See, this bill, crafted by a Democratic senator, an independent, and a staunch conservative, sought to find a way forward and address what Republicans have called an emergency for years. Of course, as leader, I was part of the negotiations. But let's not forget, Leader McConnell was too. Not just in the negotiations, but he signed off on the final package. You don't have to believe me. These are Leader McConnell's words, quote, "I want to congratulate Senator Lankford on a remarkable job of negotiating with the other side, getting the support of the Border Council. And," McConnell claimed, quote, "if we had 100% Republican government, President, House, Senate, we probably could not have been able to get a single Democratic vote to pass this bill." He also said it was, quote, "the ideal time to do it." He wasn't the only one to buy into this bill. One Republican senator said, quote, "I have never been at the cusp of an opportunity like this in the last 20 years on immigration that we have right now. Something that will make a difference," unquote. So these aren't the words of senators who think this was all just political theater. They sound like words of senators, including Leader McConnell, who were hoping to get something done. So what happened? Well, we know. The former president put politics over what's best for the country. Trump told his MAGA allies to kill it in its tracks so he could exploit the issue on the campaign trail. In Donald Trump's words, "Please blame it on me, please." And Senate Republicans blindly and loyally followed suit. It was appalling then. It's worse now. We gave Republicans a second chance to show where they stand. Do they want to fix this so-called emergency, or do they want to show blind allegiance to the former president, even when they know he's wrong? Our position, to get something done in a bipartisan way, is the position of a large majority of Americans. Poll after poll shows that a large majority of Americans across party lines support our position of getting a bipartisan bill done, and only 8% are in opposition. When Republicans like Donald Trump say don't support a bipartisan bill, wait till next year, they're in a distinct minority with the American people, and even a minority among Republicans. A majority of Democrats, 80% of Americans in key states, believe that the situation at the border is unacceptable and demands attention and action, and this bill would have addressed that in a strong and meaningful way. A majority of Democrats and Americans believe it's imperative to our national security to ensure our frontline border officials have the tools and resources needed to disrupt threats and keep us safe, including hiring thousands of new Border Patrol agents and officers that this bill would have done. A majority of Democrats and Americans believe we absolutely must crack down on fentanyl coming over the southern border. This bill would have done that, using billions of dollars and top technology to do it. It's not just a majority of Democrats and Americans that support what's in this bill, but the Chamber of Commerce, the Wall Street Journal editorial page, the Border Patrol Union. So today was an opportunity for Republicans to listen to the millions of Americans across the country that support this bill and the thousands of Border Patrol officers on the front lines of the border that endorse the bill. The contrast between Democrats and Republicans is clear today and will be even clearer in November. Democrats want to fix the border and get something done. Republicans want to give speeches, let the border fester, and do absolutely nothing to fix the problem. They think it's a smart political strategy, but they're wrong. Now, Democrats will continue to keep trying to fix our border problem. It's too important for our national security, our communities, and our country. Senator Stabenow, you have to go?
Yep.
Okay, Senator Stabenow, if you guys don't mind? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, there
You go.
Okay,
You go.
okay, great. Well, I'm proud to be part of a caucus that actually likes to get things done. And we have shown over and over again that as Democrats, we know you have to work with Republicans. That's how you get things done. And that's how we have seen so many positive things happening for people. So 106 days ago, Republicans had a chance, as our leader has indicated, to actually step up and support something that they helped create, they helped draft, and because of Donald Trump said no. And today, they had a chance to do that again. You know, what's most frustrating to me is that this is not about politics, it's about solving problems that have yet been solved, because they are not willing to join us to do that. Fix the broken asylum system, it's still broken because of their vote today. Stop the flow of deadly fentanyl, it's still coming because of their no votes today. Give the president tools to manage the border, still doesn't have everything that is needed because they voted no today. And investing in border agents and officers that are desperately needed, not just at the southern border, but from Michigan, I can tell you, at the northern border, this is an issue for us as well. These problems are real. We know that. The president knows that. That's why we brought the bill up again, to give another chance to actually get this done. You know, it'd be a great drinking game to every time the Republicans went to the floor and said we need to do something about border security to be able to follow that, right? And they'll come back again. I bet when we come back, they'll be back again on the floor saying we need to do something about border security. Well, we do. We do. And we're trying. And they've now voted no twice. And we still have the issues, and we're still going to look for ways to solve the problem, because you know what? That's what we do. We step up and offer to work together to solve problems for the American people.
Senator Cortez, Masto.
Thank you. And thank you again, Leader Schumer, for your leadership, and to all of my colleagues here with me for all of the work they've done here. Listen, we know what happened today. We all know why a majority of Republicans have not joined us to strengthen our border security, to support our law enforcement, to get fentanyl off our streets, and to protect American families. 2 words, Donald Trump. He would rather use the border chaos for political gain rather than actually solving the problem. Listen, this bill was not something I wanted. It's not something everyone wanted. It's a compromise bill. That's what this is about. It wasn't perfect. Most of the bills we pass in Congress aren't perfect, but our job is to work together to solve the problems within our jurisdiction that the American people want and expect from us. Not to put our party above everything else, or political gain above everything else. Listen, I come from Nevada. We are not a border state. But what happens at that southern border bleeds into Nevada. I know this because, unfortunately, like every community, we have fentanyl in our community, and it is killing people. Between 2020 and 2023 in Clark County, where Las Vegas is, the Southern Nevada Health District reported the number of overdose deaths involving the use of fentanyl with methamphetamine or cocaine increased 97%. 97%. And it's just not the fentanyl. I will tell you, I was down at the border. I was down at the Tucson sector, both the Lukeville and Nogales. I was talking to our custom agents down there, as well as our Border Patrol. And I'll tell you what, the one thing that they made very clear to me was that they are understaffed and they are overwhelmed. And they want to be able to do their job. And they expect Congress to do its job. which is provide them the resources they need to secure that border and make sure that we have resources to strengthen that border security where they are. And unfortunately today, it's not happening. As you've heard, this bill would hire more officers. It would fund new scanning technology to address what we see the drug trafficking coming across the border, all the while fixing a broken asylum system that is not fair to families and is taking our Border Patrol agents away from other critical work. Listen, the reason why we brought this bill and continue to bring this bill is because this solves the problem. And it's a bipartisan piece of legislation. Working together, this is what Congress does. And we have to show the men and women in law enforcement on those front lines, along with American families and everyone else, that we continue to work together to get things done. And it's unfortunate that some of my Republican colleagues think it's okay to play politics with their lives, with the American public and families' lives. And so I just thank my colleagues and thank Leader Schumer and everyone else who continues to support our law enforcement at the border, continues to put our American families first, and recognizes that we need to continue that work to solve these problems.
Senator Warnock.
Today is about the humanitarian crisis at the border and its implications for our national security, but it's also about something else. It's about a question, it seems to me, that every legislator has to ask himself or herself every day we walk out the door. Who do you work for? Do you work for the people who elected you, or do you work for somebody else? Do you work for the people of our country, the people of your state, or do you work for somebody who is running for president? The onus is clearly on Washington Republicans to explain to the American people why it is that they won't even agree to move forward to debate a bill that is endorsed and supported by the Union of Border Control Agents, whose names they invoke continuously, supported by our chambers of commerce. It's a bipartisan bill. They have said that there is a crisis at the border, and now that it is time for the Congress to address it in a bipartisan way, we see that they've walked away. And I've heard a lot of words today, but I haven't heard an explanation for why they have walked away from that debate. And the reason is, we all know the reason. It is because they have received their directives from a defendant in a courtroom in New York. Well, I work for the people of Georgia, and I have heard their call for me to come to this place to engage with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle. We won't agree on everything. We won't agree on many things. There are things in this bill, be clear, that I don't like. I wouldn't write it exactly the same way. But if we could have moved forward on debate, we could have had amendments, we could have had conversation, and yet Washington Republicans have decided not even to have a conversation about something they say is a crisis. What could be more cynical? What could be more craven? Quite frankly, it is the kind of thing that turns people away from politics, because today is an example of when politics becomes about the politicians rather than the people. Folk who've decided that they'd rather have the issue than actually try to resolve the issue. And so I won't turn away one moment from working on behalf of the people of Georgia, who have said, by the way, that they need comprehensive immigration reform. If you talk to business owners, business leaders, they know it, that we need to provide a pathway to dreamers. There's a lot that we need to have in this conversation, but today was an opportunity to move forward on securing the American border, which is fundamental to our job. And unfortunately, our colleagues have walked away. The question is, who will stand up for the American people? Who will fight for common sense immigration reform? Who will secure the border? who will give dreamers a path, and who will actually have the courage to have a conversation to be serious about something that really is serious.
Thank you. Well said. Okay, questions on this subject? Yes.
In addition to this and the contraception bill, you all will have a vote.
Can we stay to this subject first?
Well, are you going to have other votes
Oh.
on things that Republicans should have a vote on before the November election?
Yeah, you're going to see there are plenty of issues that we want to get done. Our job has been, as a majority, to get things done. We passed more bipartisan legislation than any majority in decades. But there will obviously be times to show the public who's on what side. And in June, we're going to spend a significant amount of time talking about reproductive rights. Now, in each case, we hope our Republican colleagues will see the light and go with us. We want to get something done above all. But that doesn't mean we shy away from issues where they seem to be adamant against them. Yes.
Mr. Schumer, on the issue of the border, do you expect to bring this bill back up again next year if Democrats win the election, or do you think things would materially change?
Look, first, we're going to keep trying this year because we believe this is so important. And as was said, the Republicans don't have any explanation why they voted no. This was a bill they all supported. You heard the words from Leader McConnell and others. And then Donald Trump says don't support it, and they turn around. That's not an explanation as to why they wouldn't support this. They can't just say the Democrats are doing this for this reason or other. This is a bill they supported. Where I'd like to go, and I think large numbers of our caucus, is next year, God willing, we win keep the majority and win it in the House, is comprehensive immigration reform. That's a passion for me. We passed a bill, as you know, in the Senate with 69 votes. The late Senator McCain, my dear friend, and I put together a strong bill that had broad support. That's where we'd like to start from. Yes.
You put a large focus on bipartisanship. Senator Sinema, in her floor remarks just before this vote, said that she's concerned that holding this vote today may have a chilling effect on later or future bipartisan negotiations. Do you share that concern?
No, we're going to keep at it with bipartisanship. We're talking to Republicans on a whole bunch of different issues. And again, no good explanation the Republicans have why they wouldn't support this bill other than Donald Trump told them to do a 180-degree about-face. They aren't saying what's wrong with this bill. They were supportive of it. Yes.
What's your message to the Senate Democrats that voted against this bill, including the ones that flipped to voting no today?
Look, we always said that we would never get a good bipartisan bill doesn't get every Democratic vote and every Republican votes. It gets enough votes to get a majority. We had more than enough Democratic votes to get a majority here. I think there were 42 Democratic votes and 1 Republican vote. Lisa Murkowski voted for it. We're grateful for that. But we got, we didn't get enough Republicans, plain and simple. But we are going to keep trying. We believe the American people are on our side on this issue, not theirs. And that's what all the data shows. So we're going to keep at it. Yes.
What do you make of the fact that 2 of the 3 negotiators, Langford said this became a prop, Sinema said that it was political theater? What do you make of that?
I'd look at what they said about the bill. We voted on the bill, not on rhetoric. Both of them to their credit, put their hearts, souls, and minds into this and came up with a damn good product that should have passed until Donald Trump did his thing. Yes.
Where do you think this leaves the administration in terms of executive action? Are you expecting them to take action after this?
Well, look, they may, but look, the best way to get something done is through legislation, and we're going to keep at it. Okay? Thank you, everybody.